Tell me about yourself.
Hello, my name is Natalie Fletcher, and I am a freshman at Temple University studying tourism and hospitality management. I am in love with my major. I always want to make people happy and satisfy their needs. And when my parents have parties at home, I'm always the one that wants to plan what kind of food we're having, where it's being set up on the table, where people are going to put their coats. I love tourism and hospitality and event planning and making people comfortable. Even again, at my home, when my family comes to stay, usually my bedroom is a guest bedroom during that time. And I always put little chocolates on their pillow, and I make sure the sheets are clean, and I make sure the room is presentable. And that's just something that I love doing, because I know that even if it's my family member, my aunt, my cousin, my uncle, their stay at my house is still going to be very enjoyable. Um, as a child, I moved around a lot. My father was in the military, so we moved from Pennsylvania to New York to Virginia. And even then, we lived in multiple houses while we were in that state. But those times in my life were critical times where I was pulled out of school and put into a new school. But that taught me to be very adaptive and make friends quickly and put myself out there. If I just sat in a corner alone at lunch, or I didn't raise my hand in class, or I didn't engage in the icebreaker activities, I wouldn't have friends, in my middle school life and my high school life would be very miserable. But being able to adapt and make friends and put myself out there is going to help me in the business world, because I'm not just going to go to my cubicle every day and do my work. I'm going to make relationships. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to adapt quickly into the environment that I'm working with. And that is a quality that you need to have. I grew up in a family of 5 children. I am the middle child. We lived in a very small house for part of my life. And we were always told to work together. We had to work together. There was even a time where we would all go grocery shopping together, all 5 of us, my mom and my dad, and the car would be loaded up. And we would start at the trunk of the car and make an assembly line all the way up the stairs into the kitchen to make groceries go in faster, rather than just mom or dad making all these trips to the car and back. I am also one of those people that gets the job done and then takes the next step. I have a summer internship at FCI Federal, and it is a government contracting agency, and I'm an office worker. They gave me the title of Human Resources Benefits Specialist, but I'm just used all over the place. And the director of security one time called me into her office and said, "Natalie, I need you to make these binders for me. I need X copies of all of these, and they need 12 binders, so on." So I said, okay, and all she asked me to do was make copies of these papers. I made the copies of the papers. I then proceeded to hole punch all of these papers. I then grouped them into each binder and made a cover sheet for each binder, and then I went ahead and ordered the binders that was needed. And she was ecstatic that I went that far. I didn't just do what she asked. I went above and beyond.
Tell me about a significant accomplishment.
I used to work at Harris Teeter, and for about a year in my senior year of high school before I moved on to college. That was a pretty good job. It gave me a lot of good customer service skills, and I was actually a bagger there. And this may sound silly, but my manager gave me the recognition of head bagger. It was nothing to do with corporate. It was specific to our store, and it was just something to be recognized for. I wasn't getting a pay raise. I wasn't getting any special treatment. It was just saying, hey, we like what you're doing. We see that you're proud. We see that you are a good leader, and we want you to train everybody else as becoming a bagger. This made me feel really good. I know it was just recognition, and I wasn't getting 50 extra cents of pay or anything. But to know that what I'm putting out there is being recognized by my managers made me feel really good. I was now training all these new baggers, showing them how to do the job, not only in a timely manner, but in a right manner. And if they wanted to do it differently, that was accepted. But as long as they did it in a timely manner. And for me, having these customer service, having these leadership skills are essential. It would always be my want to make sure that customer had a pleasurable shopping experience. And when they were checking out, even though I wasn't the cashier, I still made sure that they found everything they needed while they were shopping. And I made sure plastic or paper bags, I bagged their groceries very nicely, and I said, "Have a good day," with a smile. That could make their shopping experience 10 times better and want them to come back to that store and maybe even request me to bag their groceries because of how well I do them. There was this article in the Wall Street Journal some weeks ago about a robotic coffee shop called Cafe C. And I mean, it's a cool thing, don't get me wrong, but having a robot make your coffee and serve your coffee, to me, is kind of, not good because it eliminates the person-to-person interaction that we need in this society. We cannot go a day without talking to somebody physically. If you stay behind a phone, you stay behind a computer, you're not having any human interaction. Now, the fact is, yes, you can get your cup of coffee or your donut, whatever you ordered at this robotic coffee shop, maybe 10 seconds faster, but you're not handed it with a "have a lovely day" and a smile from a friendly barista. Your name's not written on the cup. There is no sentimental value to that cup of coffee. And that sounds so little, but even just saying "have a good day" and handing somebody's coffee with a smile can change their day. A robot cannot do that.
What is something you learned in class?
In my HRM class, I learned a variety of wonderful topics, and one of them being teams and groups. And I never knew how important teams and groups were. I would usually just, get in my group and get the work done. But you need to learn to know each other and work cohesively. You need to know more than just their names. You cannot divvy it out and have everybody do a separate portion because it's not going to sound like one cohesive voice. I had to work in a team for a team project in this class, and we stormed and we formed, and we didn't really get started on the actual project until our third meeting because we were getting to know each other and getting an idea and a grasp of what we were supposed to do. If you don't get a grasp on what you're supposed to do, then it's just going to fall apart. You're not going to get the product out that you want to get out. You're not going to get the same end result. Having good relationships with your team members and people outside of that group is very important. Back to my summer internship at FCI Federal, I never work alone. I always have to report to somebody, whether they're higher up, whether they're the same age as me, whether they're different departments. I'm never just sitting at my desk alone. If I did not take the initiative on day one of my employment there to meet other people in different departments, I would feel weird having to go to them and say, "Hey, I need this form so I can complete this document," because they would not know who I am and what I'm doing here. So you need good relationships in order to have a good workplace and to have a good environment and to make your time at a company worthwhile.